Evaluation Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media texts? In our A2 coursework, we have made a music video and 2 ancillary products, an advertisement and digipack. We have made these products for an indie rock band called Demographic, which have a target audience of 16 to 24-year-olds who are the same age as the band, and the target audience is 60% male and 40% female. We have got this demographic because the band members are often seen as ideal selves, Carl Rogers 1969, to their target audience because they are seen as these ideal selves who are relatable and have made it. This is reinforced by the star persona, Richard Dyer 1979, we have presented in our band, as this is the lead singer, Billy Marsden, being seen as an electronic shaman, Sven E. Carlson 1999, with his quirky dress sense and voice being very much the main ideal self within the band. However, their target audience is also 40% female because the indie genre is pretty much on an even level, with it having males and female fans, and especially in our music video where we have an anti-hero female appearing as an ideal partner and dominant female within the video. We have a closed flexi narrative because we have got a hybrid video. The concept of our music video is a female anti-hero going around being promiscuous with all the band members. You see her going to their gig and finally ending up with Billy Marsden, our star persona. Claude Levi-Strauss, 1958, talks about binary oppositions within media texts. These then create a preferred reading, Stuart Hall, 1980, to the audience. And in our music video, we have gender as our binary opposition, challenging stereotypes because in the narrative part of our video, we have the female anti-hero as the dominant gender and then the males as the subordinate gender. This is until we get to the performance scenes of the video, where the males are stereotypically dominant, which is encoded through our shot types and low-angle shots and mise-en-scène. We use our anti-hero to attract audience members, especially with objectifying her sexually, Laura Mulvey, 1975. This is very stereotypical, but in our music video we use this stereotype to create dominance for our female. This representation is not pastiche from one main music video, but instead I have used creativity and rearranging of the old to make the new, Bentley 1997, to get little bits of lots of videos, such as Joanna by the Little Comets and Why Do You Only Call Me When You're High by the Arctic Monkeys. We mainly pastiched other indie videos, which is using music videos as postmodern text, Julian McDougall 2009, such as Joanna by the Little Comets. From this video we have pastiched the opening montage of the video. We encoded this montage of our anti-hero being shown as promiscuous with the shot types used, such as long shots of her body and her bare back, which connote promiscuity and mystery, as you do not see her face because it creates a preferred reading of her being the dominant female anti-hero within the indie ideology of sex, drugs and rock and roll to the audience and establishes the narrative. This agrees with not only Tim O'Sullivan 1998 arguing that media texts always tell us some kind of story, but also with Todorov's 1977 stages of narrative, equilibrium, disequilibrium, action against it, and new equilibrium. However, we challenged Todorov's theory. This is because you could say that we don't have equilibrium to start with because of the theme being the story being a centre of Stanley Cohen's 1972 Folk Devils and Moral Panic theory, with our anti-hero being the folk devil. This is because as a society we have an ideology that a young girl using her sexuality to get what she wants as a negotiated reading, so many people may see disequilibrium to start with within our narrative structure. However, to target our audience in terms of who we are appealing to because of genre, this would possibly not be a problem because of ideologies of the young within society, who are our target audience, may not have the views that a woman using her sexuality is a bad thing but is instead empowering. We also pastiched our split screen from example kickstarts, and although this is not the same genre of our video, indie rock, it is where we pastiched our idea from and what inspired us to do it this way. We also pastiched the idea that they are all doing the same thing in this split screen, which in our video is getting out of bed with each member of the band, but the timing is the same, so on each one she is getting up out of bed and leaving, but they are all different in terms of people, band members, and clothing she is wearing. We pastiched this from Example's music video, but changed it like theirs, who have different shoes in each one, so that Maddie wore 3 different outfits and has 3 different people. This allowed us to pastiche conventions of real media text to create a preferred reading of our main anti-hero, where the audience could see her folk devil behaviour with different men, but at the same time. This is further reinforced with the lyrics of the song, There She Goes Again, jump cutting in time to the pace, the visuals appearing in the split screen. Goodwin, 1992. A main influence of our entire brand has been the Arctic Monkeys. This is due to them being in the same genre as our band and from around the same area as our band, which is useful in establishing what record label to use, Domino Records, and what themes are popular in the mainstream market. We pastiched a lot of black and white ideas from the Arctic Monkeys. They use black and white and other indie genre conventions that we have developed while editing the footage. The black and white used throughout our video is an indie genre convention is because it is cheap. It has connotations of indie rock being seen as homemade, which fits in with our band type and appeals to the target audience. This creates verisimilitude within our stock characters, Vladimir Prop, 1928. This has been done with mainstream videos such as Ed Sheeran's A-Team, where the video is all in black and white to connote the mood of sadness but yet is calm at the same time. We also encoded black and white to connote a change in our anti-hero and in our binary oppositions, Claude Levi-Strauss, 1977. When the cigarette is lit and our anti-hero finally achieves her goal, so instead of being dominant, looking for her next man, and using her promiscuity to get him, she has actually got him, met him, and is satisfied, which makes her become more subordinate. We also use jump cutting and cross cutting of the characters, for example, at the ending where the video is cross cutting from our anti-hero in bed with all the different members of the band, to her then kissing our star persona, which is matching the pace of the narrative and the music, Goodwin, 1992. It also connotes the fast-paced lifestyle theme that we have coded into our video by editing these jump cuts and cross cuts all the way through the video. Indie rock is a subgenre of indie and rock. Barry Keith Grant, 1995, said all genres have a subgenre. Within our genre, we need various codes and conventions in order for our imaginary entity in Ang, 1991, to be able to identify them through their recognisable characteristics before we develop our products into a proper band. This then led us to John Hartley, 1987, who says all institutions, which is us, are obliged to talk to an audience, which we have done through creating our imaginary entity and gaining feedback and doing research. We did this through our media presentation of our initial ideas on Prezi.com, where we presented to our peers in class, gaining feedback on SurveyMonkey.com. Overall, the feedback we gained was positive and qualitative data feedback. For example, what do you think of our idea for our hybrid video? Please give us constructive feedback in the box below, which led to answers like, good because it shows things from a different perspective, and yes, I think it will suit the song. We then used this feedback to develop our ideas and to add our imaginary entity to speak to our target audience through subcultural capital, Sarah Thornton. We had encoded such as mise-en-scène of costume for the band in the performance scene, which was stereotypically indie, scruffy jeans and a t-shirt, developing our ideas more as we had already gained the feedback from people who fit into our target audience. Andrew Goodwin's 1992 Codes and Conventions of Music Videos have to be used within every music video in order to create verisimilitude. We do this through several ways. We have used these conventions through our split screen where the recognisable lyrics, "There She Goes Again," are displayed in text, so the music matches the visuals on screen in terms of the lyrics. Our split screen also relates to Roland Barthes' 1977 Enigma Codes, setting up problems for the audience because of the iconography within it of her getting up and getting dressed and leaving, such as insert shots of alcohol bottles and ashtrays, which are stereotypes of our genre. We have also used the codes and conventions of voyeurism a lot, but have challenged the screen within a screen, because although we have used a screen within a screen in our video because of looking at our anti-hero through a mirror in an over-the-shoulder shot, but we also sneak up on her going around the door and ending up in a mid-shot of her back as she is undressing in the room. This appeals to our audience because she is undressing, which makes her appeal as an ideal partner, Carl Rogers 1969, to the audience, creating a preferred reading of her using her sexuality to get what she wants, Stuart Hall 1980. The close-ups in our video is something we have struggled with because we did not plan enough to have close-ups of our lead singer singing, so we did not have lip-syncing. This is something we have resolved by going onto Adobe Premiere CS 5.5 and going through the footage and razor tooling it into the footage to create more lip-syncing in our video, with it now being to a suitable level as it is a code and convention of music videos, especially within the indie genre where it is stereotypical to have a hybrid video. Our music matches the visuals because we created a lot of jump cuts through the post-production editing stage of our product. These jump cuts are especially prominent at the end of the video. These jump cuts are especially important because of the pace of the music and even the narrative and whole ideology, Tim O'Sullivan 1998, of sex, drugs and rock and roll, which connotes a fast-paced lifestyle. Jump cuts used to help encode the preferred reading is that of the cuts to different performance scenes, and at the beginning and end using crosscuts to help establish the narrative of the promiscuous woman being dominant, and going round the members of the band by creating the montage in the beginning of the video of her getting out of bed, and at the end of the crosscuts of her getting in and out of bed with the rest of the band and then kissing our star persona. We have pastiched these music matching the visuals fast-paced from Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind, which is also in black and white. The iconography of our artist is mainly linking to our star persona of Billy Marsden. We have exploited him and the iconography that goes with him to our advantage to bring the band some recognition, using him as anchorage for the band. For example, his clothes and glasses and moustache throughout the video are very indie because we denote them as being old-fashioned and connote not many people wearing them as stereotypically indie, meaning them being niche, which uses stereotypes of real media text, and we know through pastiching other bands such as the Arctic Monkeys tour poster is a good example of this, and looking at our subgenre that the audience see the band on a hegemonic view. This is opposite from the counter type of our anti-hero who creates a pluralistic view in our narrative to our audience, especially within the female audience. We use iconography of our female across whole branding, and that the red lipstick, we also use blonde hair as iconography in our video. This iconography is very stereotypical of a sex icon throughout all media, for example, using her female fatale.